lot of trophies for Paul Casey. Launch day for the Nike Vapor driver. Great to be with a 13-time European Tour. Also, Chris DiMarco and Steve Stach, representative for Nike. Good morning, man. How you doing?
Doing great. Good morning.
Look at this green club. You've been mashing it during commercial break. You talked about it a little bit in Studio AP. Why this driver at the end of the day? Because you have a lot of choices.
I do have a lot of choices. Personally, I think this is the best driver out there.
Yeah.
For me, this is wonderful, the combination of one, adjustability, but also the distance I get, the speed I get off the club face, plus the maneuverability and the forgiveness. So it's a package rolled all into one.
Steve, you agree?
Absolutely. Paul's one of our premier athletes, and to fit Paul with the series of drivers, the Vapor Pro, the Vapor Speed, and the Vapor Flight, it's been very easy transition for Paul.
All right, let Paul hit him one or two for us and tell, we were talking earlier, I heard you talking earlier about how you can, dial it down. Now, isn't it so much easier now than it used to be for us to be able to, we were on the range and you can bring up 4 or 5 different shafts, 4 or 5 different heads, and we can, instead of having to go build them 30 minutes and all that, it's so much easier now. Ooh, that one's pretty good.
Now, we know Paul Casey can hit the ball. What about the folks at home that are watching? What are the benefits for someone watching today that if they want to try out this club, what are they going to see?
What they're going to see is the adjustability, which is huge. You can get 15 different adjustments with the Flex Loft too. So you can change the face angle to neutral, to square, or excuse me, neutral to right or left, and then you can change the loft in 5 different settings. So it's real easy for our fitters out there to bring out the 3 different heads that we offer, 10 different shafts, and adjust to a player right then and there and get a guy fit, and he can walk away with a driver that he feels confident he can play his best golf with.
Well, I always felt like whenever a buddy of mine at home would come out with a new driver, I always felt like it was crazy before the new technology's out there. You go in there and they would try to fit their swing to the club.
Right.
Now you can buy a club and you can pretty much make it 3 degrees one way or the other. You can, if you don't like the shaft, you can go get another shaft instead of a whole new head. So the technology these drivers are putting out is so much easier, so much better for the consumer.
It is. It's a win-win for players and consumers. Paul is a definite example of how easy it is to fit a guy and the successes you can have right away with new technologies.
We're watching this ball striking display. Paul, you've always been known as a great ball striker. How much do you make adjustments? There's so many things you can do with the clubs. Will you change when you go to St. Andrews? Will you change versus what you might do at a PGA championship?
Yeah, I will, and predominantly I just change the loft.
Okay.
I don't mess too much with the face angles. The face angle, that will be adjusted right at the beginning of getting to know that golf club. If I need it a little bit, left or right, open or closed, we can make that adjustment then. But once I'm familiar with the driver and I like my driver, then it's just a case of maybe adjusting loft depending on really elements, conditions. Maybe even the golf course. Is it soft? Is it dry? Do I need the golf ball to run a little bit more? Come down at a different angle. So this week at Bay Hill, we're going with 10-5 and neutral, which is where it's been all year. And maybe as I get into the majors, touch wood, if I get into the majors, certainly the kind of links courses we're going to play, maybe that goes to 9-5 as the year pans out.
A little bit lower, runs out a little bit more for the conditions, obviously. That's what you want to do. Yeah.
Are you amazed of the last 5 years how technology has changed, and now you can really dial clubs the way you want them? Before you had to kind of take them off the rack. You can face, draw angle, fade bias. How much technology have we seen? How much has it evolved, Steve?
It's crazy, as Chris can attest to. We'd have to go in and build 4 or 5 different drivers, which would take 35 minutes to an hour inside the tour van, come back out, go to a session with Paul. And if you got lucky, you get one close, but then you'd still have to go back, do it again. But now, as I said, with all of the new technologies that we have available to us, it makes it really easy for fitting.
You got to watch the guys that go into portlets with their drivers. They're not liking it. They're changing it while they're playing.
Is that what's going on in there?
Think so, but
Let's see you hit another one.
I need some more tees.
Need some more
guys.
tees, or
Yeah.
you're mashing the tees
Sorry.
as well. No, that's
Too
all right.
exciting.
Making all these nice rainbows here in the simulator.
Well, yeah, lefts and rights, but it's all good. The first one was for the it's for the 8th hole this week.
There you go. You're going to need that
right over the
shot.
corner of the trees. We talked about that hole earlier. And then the red ones, right? We have to be at 15, right over the left edge of that bunker.
I'm good at calling them afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. It's the best time to call.
That's for the.
Let's see,
What's that one
number
for?
6.
One over the trees?
Start at the bunker, bringing it over.
Steve, thanks for coming in. Really appreciate it.